This is Bishop trying to come to you to tell you that we're sorry that so many people moaning about John F. Kennedy's death. John F. Kennedy was a leader for all the people around the world. We take this day to commemorate John Kennedy because he was a rising star. The problem he's had, the problem he brought to the country. He brought healing and deliverance and things he brought to this country. They help you and me. And I want you to know today, as we talk about him, as we get ready to funeralize him and bring his spirit back into us, that we talk about the things that he have did for us and things I feel that was positive, had to do directly with John F. Kennedy. And I feel if I stand in the light today, that Kennedy pulled out something for people. And I want to talk about that today. Get ready for God to bless you. This is Bishop Turner from the seat of Abraham. I want to share this with you. We have 7 shows on Blog Talk Radio. First, you can come to on Mondays. We have Martin Luther King Speak. Play tapes of Martin Luther King, of what Dr. King did. Then we play Kennedy. We play Frank Sinatra, and that's from 10 to 11 every Monday. On Tuesday, crossing over with the ancestry. And when I cross over with the ancestry, I talk to the ancestry. And just for you and you, I'm going to cross over and talk to Kennedy today. And as I talk to John Kennedy, I'm going to see what he's saying. Now, as I talk to you, President Kennedy, I'm asking you, as I cross over with you, there's Michael with me, there's Metatron, there's the angel. As I cross over with you on your 50th anniversary of your death, what the people want to know how you feel. Kennedy saying to me, Bishop, I have good energy, I move, but the country is in bad shape. And Mr. President, as I interview you today in the spirit, have we grown or we've got less? The President feels that we haven't grown. We have begun to fight among each other, and somebody let greed slip into our people. And one of my statements that he made that that's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Mr. President, I want to ask you, is you pleased with Obama, President Obama, doing the job? Oh, and the president responded saying that he could do more and come out the trenches and do more and for world peace, for world hunger, so he can do more. I want to ask you this, Mr. President. Do you feel that the people have strayed away from all what the country stands for? The president said the right wing and the left wing have pulled all the way back. The conservatives have not did anything but tried their best to destroy the country. And I want to ask you, Mr. President, what we need to do to bring this country back on its feet. The president answered saying that we need to pool our resources together, come with unity, and these big money people that's paying for different bills to be passed in the local government and in the national government need to be cut out. And we need to stop giving fat cats big money to do what they do already. The government, as I see it, the president said, is on a way of destroying itself on the inside, the lack of unity and greed. Uh, President Kennedy, uh, what about the Obama health care bill? I want you to elaborate. Uh, just talk to me about that while I can tell the people what you're saying. If you just tune in, I'm talking to President John F. Kennedy in the spirit. I'm crossing over, and he's telling me that he feels that America needs a change. And not only a change, the people within America. We have too long let other people come in to take the resources back to other countries. And the president saying that, okay, they've took the resources of our educational system. They took advantage of coming into America and leaving out. And the next thing that they would like to do, destroy America on the inside. So, Mr. President, I want to ask you this here. Do you feel that the Obamacare of the health care, the president say he have endorsed in his cabinet for to keep the race war? He's speaking about the race war to going to space. That's what he's speaking about. He said it was wrong for the Obama administration to cut the money for NASA to keep the fight, the global fight of going to the moon or to the other stars. He feels that should be started back up. Mr. President, I want to ask you this. What do you think about the Obamacare and the health thing? I believe it's affordable for all the people of America. I believe it's affordable because it can work. If we can get the parties on the other side of the aisle work with the president, we can get this bill done. It'll help all the people. It's not about the Congress. It's not about the Republican and Democrat. It's not about the president. It's about the people of America, the taxpayers that put us in office. When I was in office, I stood out for the people more than ever. I didn't take nothing from the people. And I stood out and made sure the people got their just. I know that was jealousy in my cabinet. I know there was people on the other side of the aisle didn't want me to progress and the things that they did. But we cannot go down that stairway of violence in our country. We can't tolerate it. Now, Mr. President, tell me about the gun lobby and all of that. I feel that the gun lobby is a fat cat getting fatter, and they have paid for some of the people to be in Congress, some of the people to be senators, so they're going to always stand out with them. The gun violence is not accepted in America, and I feel that every power to be should stop the legislation of guns going into the urban areas where the poor people are at, and that's what's happening. There could be some bill passed to stop the gun violence. And surely, in my administration, I wouldn't have passed the bill to let people that are sick, coming from the war, coming from Vietnam War, and the other wars of the world, I would not let those people come home without jobs, without the proper medical attention. And I would not let them come back into a city or a part where there's no job. That can be jobs bills could be passed as I speak now, and it could work out. But the team have to work together. Thank you. I'm interviewing uh, President Kennedy tonight, and this is Bishop Turner, and you with Blog Talk Radio. And I want to ask this about Mr. Kennedy. President Kennedy, what did you think about snooping that's going on in America and Snowden? Uh, I feel that it's way out of hand, and I feel that Robert was snooped on, and I was snooped on in my presidency. But it's out of hand now when you start the snooping on foreign leaders that is our allies. And the president has to step up and demand that Snowden come back and be held accountable for how he did, and let the people know, and somebody need to step up in the intelligence community and let the people of America know that they're not snooping on them, or they're not messing with them. Snooping or satellites and all that would bring, I feel that's destroying America on the inside, and the countries need to come together. All the European countries of the world need to come together and sit down at the table of brotherhood and see what can be done to bring the fighting over in the Middle East, and with along uh, with Israel and the Muslim, they need to come together. And I think the European nations will come together and help the sovereign nations, the nations that struggle like Africa, India. It could be a change if we focus our energy on peace. That's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country and for the world. So one of the things that I look at today where I'm at, I see that it's a loss happening, but it's about greed. And it's greed and mistrust. I want to ask this, Mr. President, with the website not up, do you feel that the Obama care is a good thing? Do you feel that the health care that Obama and the Congress trying to get will work? It will work, but we have to work together, and we have to stand to work it, because I know without a doubt that the nation or the world are bringing resources to America, and we must cut off the global war of mass destruction that's happening around the world. Take over in Africa, where they're in a war and they're killing, they're in a civil war. We have to speak to that in the UN. The UN have to take a positive walk and begin to look around the nation and help those poor, undeveloped countries, not just with money, with education, with resources. Get on the ground and go in. In Egypt, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been. It should have been a diplomatic community to come in and take care of that. Thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask you, President Kennedy, what you think about the race to blacks within America, since you have been off the scene physically. I know you're on the scene spiritually. What have you seen? Are the schools named after you? They got streets named after you. And I want to ask you, on your 50th, you was assassinated 50 years ago. What have you seen in the black community, or that you see that it should be developed, or you please? Now, I'm not pleased with it. I see that we are going down a stairway of violence and locking up our children that are still hungry in the black community. They're still hungry in our nation. And not only black folks, white folks, not only poor folks that's suffering. And I see that it's a a concerted effort by local government and federal government to come together and stomp out the hunger that we have in the major cities and the dark places. I set up the care for people to be fed. I set up also a bill where housing would go. I set up a bill for the transportation around America. But it seemed like it's on the back burner and other people come in office had other agendas. I want to thank President Johnson for following out what I had set up with the Civil Rights Bill. But we got to go more because after my death, there was Robert Kennedy, my brother, and that was my friend Martin Luther King, and others that have fought with me, Jim Bevel, that fought with Dr. King, to see that this country go stay on the path of the right. And it's so much left have pulled in, even the news media have pulled so much left that the people do not have a clear understanding of morals. So the moral fiber of our country is what we need in our government, what we need in our everyday living. So I want to say to you that honoring my death, let it be a lesson to you to live. Let it be a lesson to you to understand my values and what I tried to do for America. And I'm not in physical, but I'm in the spirit. And as I walk in the spirit, I walk down the hall of justice. I walk down the hall of freedom. I walk down the hall of righteousness. So I want to say to my people and to my politicians that we have to do more of feeding the hungry. We got to do more of spending money for foreign bills of war. We got to do more to mentor governments and train them how to be positive to their people. So I want to thank you for that interview, Brother Kennedy. But I want to say to you, as we talking about this interview, I want to talk to you about this. I want to ask the question, do you feel that there will be peace in the Middle East? I feel there will be peace in the Middle East if nations coming together and set down their faults, that we could get peace in the Middle East through all the countries that's involved on the East Bank. We cannot go into the next century fighting and killing. We're in a process of destroying ourselves globally. We must understand the communication that we have now, that we can see what's going on in China and Russia, what's going on in America and Korea. So South Korea and North Korea must come together to survive. There's some things coming up that the whole world have to come together. We had the tsunami, we had the earthquake and the flood. So I'm saying to my brothers and my sisters, need to come together and begin to globally heal and bring things together worldwide. And I want them to know on this day that all is well and things are working. I want to thank Archangel Michael for that interview, Gabriel, the angel that carried me to John F. Kennedy site where he was at in the spirit realm. And I'm going to describe that was a place that was serene. It was regal. It was so nice. It was an office, and it seemed like it was like a dual office. It's like a dual office, like I was in the president's office, but I was in another realm. And I was accompanied by angels. that was there with me, Michael, Raphael, and Sinclair, and the angel was there. And as he sat back, relaxed, looking young and vibrant, and on the left side, I see his son was sitting in the chair, didn't say anything, and his wife was sitting over, and seemed like he want Caroline to know that she need to run for president of the United States. Through her, the woman would be the next president if she would take the run. That we want her to know that he love her, think what she's doing over in India is what her mother and I want for her to do. And I want to thank for this interview on the 50th death of John F. Kennedy for the people. And I want to ask one question. The question that I wanted to know is the people on the right course. And he answered saying that if the ministers and the community leaders go back and rethink and sit down at the table and begin to see what the community needs, it could work and things could be done in a fashionable way. And I want to thank for that as I will interview crossing over with John F. Kennedy today, as this was his 50 years with his assassination in Dallas, Texas. And I want to ask one more question before I go. Was your death a conspiracy or one man long? I want to say to my people, it don't matter, because I know and you know, and goodwill people know that it was a cover-up. It was a conspiracy of the dark side trying to master the good. But everything I stand for is good, and always there will be people that will do the right thing. My death was a conspiracy. It was covered up with books and education. It was covered up. And it's many people that died, but it was still covered up. And I want to share that with you. It was covered up, and it had stopped. So I want you to know that as we get ready to go off the air, I want to thank you, President John Gerald Kennedy. I want to thank you, President Kennedy, for allowing me to go in the spirit realm and cross over and talk to you. And I'm glad. And this is one of the things that he said to me. He said that he said he was all right where he was at. He said that he wants us to be more brotherly love each other, see about our neighbors. And he's been smiling, he's been frowning on how the government been conducting themselves, how the president and the Congress and the Senate are conducting themselves. He said they've been fighting about something that don't belong to them. It belongs to the people. And he wants Congress to know that he's looking over their shoulder. He wants the president to know he's looking over his shoulder. He wants the Senate to know he's looking over their shoulder. And he wants them to do the right thing going into the next president election. He wants the people to look through and look at the man that is qualified or the woman that is qualified on each side of the fence, each side of the aisle. He wants them to pick the person that's going to be by the people, for the people. Even in the Supreme Court, it's laws that have been thrown away that the forefathers fought for. So he was concerned about the Supreme Court getting involved in this same-sex situation, and at the local government, and he's concerned about the fellow taking that, breaking up the family structure. He was concerned about that. So I want to thank you and you for coming to me. I'm able to go and visit uh, John F. Kennedy today. This is November the 11th, 2013. And Kennedy was killed November the 11th, 63. So here it is that he's back. I'm crossing over, talking to the people. He's saying still, ask not what your government can do for you, but what you can do for your government. Thank you.